and a good chance of rainfall.
The backache, but he couldn't postpone his tea party with one of the town's best hostesses, so he took a monk.
No place on Earth has, or at least from the southwest. There's kind of a broad southwesterly flow right now. So we are getting some converging air at the surface right in here. And this is where we are finding some of the heaviest activity with Tropical Storm Arthur. I got to tell you, even though this thing's kind of a wimp per tropical standards, look at the gorgeous bands with this thing. Really a very, very nicely picturesque tropical storm, if you will, from a feeder band standpoint. And you'll notice how everything just kind of flows right in toward the center here. But it's on this western side that we have this thunderstorm complex, which has now prompted a flash flood warning for Sampson County. Notice here in Sampson County they've had some very, very heavy rain. Most of the heavy rain has been offshore as per the Doppler, but you can see where some of this heavy rain is, and as it continues to travel to the west, the Doppler is actually picking up an estimated accumulation here anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch. So if you live in Raleigh, keep an eye on this thing because it's definitely in Pope Air Force Base and all those areas. We're looking at some heavier rain. Pretty good jet coming in across the tropics here, and you'll notice down and through here we even have a jet shearing off this tropical wave as it enters the island. So we're still dealing with some strong jet streams even this time of the year down pretty far to the south. So we're not really concerned about this wave developing. But as we saw with the last couple, showers and thunderstorms to move through fall also associated with these. But we may actually even get some severe weather. So we
Special edition of WeatherScope. Comprehensive severe weather coverage from the Weather Channel Forecast Center.
Well, thunderstorms dumped nearly 11 inches of rain overnight in historic Gettysburg, causing flooding that forced 100 people to leave their homes. Good afternoon, I'm Janine Diadamo, and now we kind of shift gears a little bit from discussion of Tropical Storm Arthur and talk about the threat of flooding, and flooding actually occurring in many places east of the Great Lakes and in the northeast. Let's show you what's going on there right now. Rainfall estimates say anywhere from 3 to 7 inches of rain have fallen since 8 a.m. yesterday morning till 8 a.m. this morning. And keep in mind, this ended at 8 this morning, so we've been seeing rain on top of this throughout much of this area. But anywhere from 3 to 6 inches has fallen, and local reports of even more than that. Adams County in south central Pennsylvania, where Gettysburg is, reports of over 11 inches of rain. Well, what we have right now is our big upper level low sitting over the Great Lakes and slowly tracking on off to the east. And the slow movement of this system has allowed for the rain in the same areas day after day. Let's show you what happened in Indiana yesterday because of the same system. We're showing you pictures from South Bend, where you got more than 1.5 inches of rain. Keep in mind, this is northern Indiana. The threat of flooding does continue today with flash flood warnings in effect for Marion County and central Indiana. Some parts of northern Indiana, though, yesterday got up to 4 inches. And of course, you are receiving more rain today. Let's see what's going on. We have an upper level low that is sitting over the area. Sunday through Tuesday, that has meant a whole lot of rain for places like Madison, Baltimore to Norfolk, Virginia. But what's happening today through Friday is the system is slow moving and is still squeezing out all of that moisture across the same area. So these are the areas that we will watch for the threat of flash flooding. And folks, we want you to be ready for very heavy, dangerous downpours that will cause flooded streets, roadways, and streams and creeks. Let's take a look at the current surface map, and what we're finding right now is our heavy rainfalls that tracks eastward along our front, because that will be the main focusing mechanism for the heavy rains throughout the afternoon. Keep in mind, the atmosphere over Pennsylvania is very unstable. When we talk about unstable air, what we mean is there's a very sharp contrast between the temperature of the air at the surface and way up high in the atmosphere. So you look right now over Ohio and Pennsylvania, you're seeing that sun peeking through the clouds, and that's meaning the ground, the surface is heating. That's going to make it worse as that hot, buoyant air begins to rise and all that moisture gets squeezed out. Right now, we do have flash flood warnings in effect for Allegheny County in Pennsylvania, where we look at the heavy rain even into Newark, New Jersey. We're talking about heavy rains through your area. Baltimore County is under flash flood warning at this time. Even reports that evacuations are being considered in the western parts of this county due to the high water. The Gwynns Falls and parts of the Patapsco River are flooded at this hour. Well, not a big surprise that flash flood watches are in effect for most of this area, Pennsylvania, the Susquehanna Valley, and through West Virginia and through the state of Virginia. Anywhere from 3 to maybe even 7 inches of rain could fall in this area throughout the daytime hours and into tomorrow. And what I want to warn you about is the threat of flooding is going to continue throughout the rest of the
and fair with this thing, except for the fact that we've got a circulation coming in from the east at the surface, and there's a slight west wind to the north of that. So we do have this little cluster of thunderstorms, which has just pushed north now of Sampson County, which is where they had a flash flood warning out. And with this, some very, very heavy, without a doubt, even though we haven't seen much convection around the center. Looks like we're starting to see some of this wrap up. And I'll tell you, as long as it stays over water, it has a little bit. That is probably most significant now because it's been heated for a while and we think it could go. So we could actually get a severe thunderstorm watch there before not too long. Hey, New York City, check this out. Big time rain right along the Turnpike West. I mean, we got some very heavy rain heading into the tri-state area here, so keep an eye on things. We head west and down toward Mercer County, Trenton, very heavy rain there, into Philadelphia. Thank goodness they've already left. But look at this. The whole track is wet all the way down into Baltimore. So you wonder why we're obviously concerned. And there'll be more where that came from later on.
Memorial Bridge. It's all heading east.
Those stories, plus in-depth forecasts and analysis in this.
Going to be kind of a case in point here. This is radar estimated precipitation for 24 hours ending at 8 o'clock this morning. So yesterday and overnight, we received anywhere from 3 to 6 inches in portions of western PA and Maryland and south central PA. So very heavy rains with this last storm system that has pushed on through. And what we're finding with it is well, continued bad weather. We've got our frontal system right through the area, our upper level low right in through the Great Lakes, and what we're finding here also is an extreme lifting of the air, a very unstable atmosphere, and that is providing for very heavy rains in this area. You notice the showers right now in Indiana. Well, yesterday we had very heavy rains in that area. We can show you some pictures from South Bend, Indiana, northern portions of the lift, because the air gets pushed up against the higher elevations and shunted upwards. And so these are the areas that we will see problems with flooding for the next several days. The visible satellite picture is going to show us the storminess throughout the area. You can pick out our frontal system, the clouds out in the Atlantic and all the way through the area. There it is, and that's going to be the line of convergence where we see mostly easterly winds. So that easterly wind is bringing in the moisture from the Atlantic, and then we've got winds also coming out of the Gulf bringing in much more moisture. And where you see all the sunshine through here, look out, the ground is heating, and that's going to mean increased instability throughout the afternoon. Now, areas of eastern Ohio and Pennsylvania are under flood watch right now, but you notice not a whole lot of activity. We do have flash flood warnings for Crawford County in Ohio because of heavy rains. All of that is pushing on off to the east, but you notice western Pennsylvania looking very quiet. We are expecting showers to continue. This big blob of green and yellow and orange that you're looking at right now is Doppler radar estimates. This is showing us how much rain has fallen in the last 2 days. Right here, this is Adams County in Pennsylvania, and the darkest red in the middle there is indicating 8 inches of rain, although we had some reports up to 8 to 12 in the historic city of Gettysburg. Underwater, reports of about 100 people there evacuating their homes. Look at this in Baltimore, Maryland. Heavy rains here have caused also the need for evacuations and a lot of other problems here, with rivers rising in excess of 25 to 27 feet. In that flooding will continue. And notice in Maryland, the rain moving on in from your west, that's going to be heading on into your area. Anywhere from 3 to 7 inches could fall in the next 24 hours. And again, with that very slow upper level disturbance moving eastward, we could find ourselves with the potential for flooding all the way through Friday. With that, we'll throw it to the studio for more on tropical.
To the north, and now taking a little bit of a jog off to the north-northeast. It looks like it's going to probably track over the western side of the Pamlico Sound. The wind is still from the east out there at Cherry Point and over by...
on WeatherScope.
The upper level low slowly tracking on off to the east. Here's a satellite picture for you. It shows the front pretty well, and along the front are clouds, are storms, but a whole lot of sunshine through Ohio, western PA, and that's getting the ground all out.
Allegheny County, western Rockbridge County, spotted reported 1.5 feet of water along a road near Bratton's Run in northwest Rockbridge County. Just issued flash flood watches out for New England, southern New England tonight. As I've been telling you about, the rain looks like it'll be shifting north as we go through the next 24 hours in that heavy rain axis. Tremendous rainfall right now working its way right across the Garden State Parkway. I mean, we are getting rainfall rates here 1 to 2 inches an hour. If you are heading south of New York City, it is just going to be an awful drive here, especially as you go through these central Jersey exits down toward the Wilmington-Delaware Memorial Bridge. Very, very heavy rain continuing to advance on off toward the east. A little break for Philly now, but it looks like it will be back. So the rainy travel in the east stays with us. Our flood watches expand northeastward, are severe south and west.
South central Pennsylvania, and some reports over a foot of precipitation. So you know that's got to hurt today with more rain on top of it. Our frontal boundary just wagging its way through the area, and that's the slow movement of that is what is helping to promote all of the rainfall today. You notice the showers continuing around Indiana with that trough of low pressure right in your neck of the woods. Yesterday you had heavy rains in this area. We'll show you some pictures from South Bend, Indiana.
Or nothing deeply convective or deeply tropical. Almost looks like it's lost a little bit of symmetry too. You see how nice and circular it was earlier on? Looking like it's getting a little flatter now, or in other words, elongated, and that too does not bode well. Again, this thing should become absorbed in the main flow and become what we call extratropical as it scoots over the Outer Banks and then heads on out tonight and tomorrow morning. And you'll even notice from the Doppler radar to Morehead City, not quite as definitive around the center anymore, but you can still see some of these outer bands looking very, very nice with respect to how they are supposed to look from a tropical system. We are seeing again the rain showers and thunderstorms continue to come into the beaches, mainly well west here in the east, down through South Carolina, Georgia, on into Florida here. A lot of shower and thunderstorm activity. As Janine detailed for you, the very heavy rain pushing across New Jersey into the tri-state area. A rough evening starting right now in New York City. Hopefully the back edge of this rain will continue to plow on through, but there will be a lot of puddles, especially on some of those secondary roads. Down to the south,